back to Wine on the Weekend. Today I am here with my homegirl, Jayla. Yay! Thanks for coming on the show.
What?
Do you have any business ventures, things you want to shout out, social medias?
Just Instagram, ikisses2_.
Period. Follow my girl. Very entertaining, very creative. We love Jayla.
I do my best.
I also want to publicly give you your flowers. So when I was going through a hard time, she was there. She really was. Providing me with opportunities, resources, connections. Really did her thing. So I just want to say thank you to you. Of course. Thank you so much. All right. So we are going to get into our drink talk. Today we are drinking on Cooper's Hawk. I am not going to pronounce the wine because I'm not going to butcher it, okay? But we are going to enjoy it. So let's toast to more culturally relevant TV shows.
Yes.
You like it?
I do.
Oh, period. Look, this is one of my favorite Cooper Hawks. Long story short, my mom had membership for like several years. Like 2 or 3 maybe. And so when I tell you we done tried everything up in there, from the food, every plate. Ain't a plate came to Cooper's Hawk in the last 2 or 3 years that I have not tried. And then wines too. So we love sweet wines though. So I have not tried a lot of the dry wines. I'm not a dry wine.
I'm gonna say something and don't beat me up, but my first time trying Cooper's Hawk food was last year. First time. I've had a lot of their wine because like my friends have it and stuff, and I've never actually been there myself, but I went for the first time last year.
Did you like it?
I did.
Of
Everything
course.
was delicious.
One of my friends went. She was like, that food was mid. Okay, girl.
Even the appetizers were great.
And they are. That's what I'm like.
You don't even need an entree. You can eat appetizers. just by
Literally.
themselves. You don't even.
The food is good. Like, you're tripping if you think
not
otherwise.
it.
It's not. It's actually good food. I'm not gonna say, it's the best food I've ever had, but it's actually really good. Like
The Asian chicken wraps.
yes,
That I didn't expect that to be as good as it was.
it was very good. And then I think they changed the chicken on it though. So,
Really?
Yeah, me and my mom was not a fan of that. But before they changed the chicken, it's like it's okay now. So we're gonna mix it up with an icebreaker. We're gonna do a little bit of We're Not Really Strangers, and then we're gonna do a little bit of Insecure Trivia.
What conversation are you avoiding? That's crazy.
That is crazy. It's the bad time for that one.
I don't think there are any because I think I've had all the conversations that I'm like, maybe I shouldn't say something, but I've like said something, so I don't think there are any. Like, not any serious ones.
Yeah, I love that for you. I'm on this whole healing journey, so I'm slowly knocking things out. I'm avoiding a conversation with my parents right now that I need to have. That's actually really important. But I promised myself I would have the conversation by the end of the year.
You know what? Now that you say it, me and my mom, I told her that my baby brother, turned off the heat in my house. I don't know how you did it. Some service switch. I had to get on TikTok to figure it out. She was like, can we figure this out tomorrow? I said, ma'am, you want me to freeze for the day because your baby just turned off? Yeah. Me and her gonna have to talk about that. Actually, let's talk about it.
We can circle back on that.
We can.
My safety, we don't play with that.
Denise,
so yeah.
Me.
I'm dead. I love
that.
Though.
But we gotta chat.
Same. I'm like, I love my parents. But there's a conversation that needs to be had. It's been on ice. But now that I'm into my vulnerable self, let's chat. So we'll see what happens. So now we're gonna do a little bit of Insecure Trivia. I'll put these up on the website.
Okay.
I feel like they are probably overly easy because we love Insecure. We're like super, super, super fans, supporters. And I just love Issa Rae in general. So anything she do, I'm behind it 10 times.
Everyone.
Okay, so the first question is, what was one of the shows that were within the show Insecure? It's like the shows that they watch all the time.
Okay, so I don't know the name of the like first couple of shows that they had in the first few seasons, but I do remember looking for the toy.
Okay, I knew just gonna say that one.
That's always my main one because it's memorable. The title is. Everything else, I'm like, I don't remember the name, but I do know the show.
So Looking for Latoya is the only one that I remember too. But there were actually, I think when I looked, there were like 4 or 5. And I'm like, oh honey, I don't remember these. But Looking for Latoya, I'm like, damn, I want to know what Latoya's in too.
Listen,
like,
I was invested.
Okay. Issa. possible spinoff. I don't know. We need to get into that. Okay, so how did Issa and Nathan meet?
It was in the party list.
Yes.
Was it? Yeah, like they was picking up multiple people. Yes.
Yes.
They had what? Capri Suns in there. Was that the time Molly broke her hair?
Yeah, Molly was in the front.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then that random black out of bed.
Yes.
A little disrespectful when they came together. So yeah, that is when they eventually met. Some people mix that up for the taco one, like when they met the taco.
Yes.
And I'm like, hold on. He didn't know nothing about them tacos. It wasn't for that
him.
part of that. Right.
Exactly.
Okay, so the next one, who was Tiffany's baby's godmother?
Okay, so is it Kim?
It is.
I was gonna say, I don't know why, but I just remember them beefing so heavy when she was pregnant, so I didn't remember if that was like one of the issues, like, you made somebody else the godmother? I can't remember, so I'm like, I hope it's Kelly.
When I was trying to answer the question, I was like, so I thought about them beefing, but then I remembered that one, it's a GIF now, and she's like, we're all abundantly well, or succeeding abundantly, or something like that, and that's at the birthday party that she's playing. So I'm like, okay, she's.
Oh yeah, it was when Lawrence was like, so how everybody in your crew doing? Yes.
So yeah, that almost tripped me up, almost.
I love her.
I can't go down like that. So we're gonna go ahead and get into our main topic: the impact of Insecure on Black culture. For those of you that have not watched Insecure at this point, if you plan to watch it, I might pause this, watch Insecure, and then come back to this, just because we might spoil some things for you. Now, why have you just now decided to watch Insecure and it's been out for several years? I have no clue. I hate that for you. But go ahead and tune in, and then come back and chat with us. So, first question. This show did so much for Black culture. But before we get into that, what do you feel the show Insecure did for you?
Ooh, I think for me, it was the importance of like friendship, like amongst the women. Cause like, you know, a lot of people think of, you know, Issa and Lawrence is like the main line for a lot of people, but really it's Issa and Molly for me. Like the front running story for me is Issa and Molly. So that wave of friendship, riding the wave of friendship with somebody as they're growing, becoming a new person, going through those changes, I think it shows like the importance of like breaks in growth, like from your people, and like how to have those tough conversations. I think that's what it was for me.
I love that, and that's a really important component. I feel like with Insecure, for me, I would say it really, representation is important, and I feel like that's what it was for me. I relate a lot to the character Issa, and so being able to see somebody go through a lot of the things that I'm going through, have been through, or things that I will be embarking on in the future, I thought that was really important for me, because sometimes you feel like you're all alone and that you're living a single, very unique experience. Like this isn't happening to anybody else. She pulled a lot of her content from Awkward Black Girl too, which was helpful, because it's like, girl, in so many situations I'm like, I'm pretty normal in a lot of ways, but I'm also very peculiar in a lot of ways too.
Yes.
And so just the things that will only happen to Issa, I'm like, literally me.
That's my life.
So that representation was so needed, especially as I'm getting older and like going through all these different changes and chapters with jobs and what am I passionate about and who do I love, why do I love them. It's like, oh my gosh, I needed this. So
I'm Issa D.
literally.
No, but my mom watched The Awkward Black Girl when it was on YouTube. Like my mom went through like, she's still in this phase of her life, but she watches a lot of YouTube series. And she watched it when it was on there, and when it became like an actual show on TV, she was like, that's my girl. I'm like,
period. On HBO.
Oh my gosh.
I love that.
Yes.
Because so many of us needed that. And there's not a lot of culturally relevant shows anymore. You know, like when we look at early 2000s, in the 90s, specifically when Black cinema was like popping, there was so much for you to just go in and watch, and people look just like you, versus now there's not a lot of that. Not that's very intentional and thoughtful.
And they don't last long either.
Hello, getting canceled after the first season. What's going on?
I have so many.
We was tuned in.
I got a whole soapbox on shows being canceled. Streaming has truly ruined television.
It has.
In so many ways. It was a very divine time for people to have cable. You just click on something on your TV and watch it, have no idea what it is, and then instantly fall in love with it and spend your entire day binging.
Right.
Like,
it's a lot.
Streaming, you can't do that. You gotta find what you're looking for.
literally, and hope that it stays around, sticks around, or that
Yes.
there's enough people around that look like you or that can resonate with the characters like you do.
Mm-hmm.
But even in some cases, it don't matter how many of y'all watching this show, it's still gonna cancel.
Baby, Underground broke my heart.
And
Why
then
did we only
what,
get 2
Stars?
seasons? Star.
Star got canceled.
They canceled Star and kept Empire going. I never understood it.
The Magic Show. What was that Magic?
Our Kind of People.
Yes. Oh, I've been looking for the name of that show and I could not find
Our
it.
Kind of People with
yes.
Yaya
And
Lance Gross and
Chestnut, isn't he in there?
I think so. Yeah.
Yes. Girl, I'm glad you said that. I need to get
That
back
show-
into that.
I was mad. We only got 1 season. They were like, oh nope, scratch that.
And I don't understand.
What?
Because we was all tuned in. So which character do you relate to the most?
I hate that question. I think it's the phases or like the pieces of each character, but I'll say like probably Molly.
Really?
Like right now,
Okay.
like you have a lot of your things together in general, and like everybody think you got it all together. I think I'm the friend in my group that they all just like, oh, Jayla got it.
Mm-hmm.
Like even you when you were like, you bought that? Yeah, I bought it, and everybody like, oh, you such an adult. You got this, you got that. I'm like, life is hard.
It is.
Even when you look like you got it together, life is hard.
Mm-hmm.
Shit hits the fan. It gets heavy. But I think I can say I relate most to her, especially like when she was, I can't remember what episode it was, but when Issa was like, yeah, girl, I just called to talk, and she was like, oh, thank you, because I've been needing somebody. And then Issa was like, actually, I wanted to ask you. And I'm like,
Oh, wait a minute.
I said, I relate so heavy because I ain't gonna lie, when I watched the show the first time when it was actually like live,
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't fooling with Molly.
Same. I still don't feel with Molly.
It's like, listen, I don't blame you because there's a lot of things about Molly. I'm like, there's just certain shit that's afraid I just would never do.
Agreed.
However, I do understand where she came from in some moments. Like with moments with her and Issa personally and their own friendship, yes, definitely. Or like the group as a whole, definitely. But with her relationships, I'm like, baby, there's just certain stuff I just...
Yeah, so I know I said mine earlier, it's Issa. Just because of the line of work that I'm in, I relate to a lot of her earlier years where it's just like, oh my gosh.
Yes.
Granted, I'm well into my career. Even at that point, I still resonate a lot with like, I'm passionate. Is it this? Or am I passionate about something else? You know? So still trying to figure that out. And then just her and her relationships and her navigating life, everyday life, trying to get her passion projects out and moving. I just resonate with her in so many ways. So.
That's real. Because I used to say the same thing. Like for me, Issa internally, yeah, for sure. Externally, like with my friends, I feel like I'm Molly in the group, but internally it's Issa.
Yeah, same. Actually, that's a good point.
When you're creative too, like it's hard. And like Issa had like creative energy and like her character too, and so like she was trying to make it work and like trying to figure out like, okay, how do I make money and
yes, right.
And like for us, we want to be in our passions but get paid for our passions, and that's hard.
Very hard, especially in the early years.
Listen, non-profit work, I always say hard work is hard work, and they like to pay you for the hard work.
So Black womanhood was covered in so many different ways in the show, obviously. Did you find any of the depictions to be harmful?
Ooh. I think sometimes, yeah. I think Molly's character, which I hated because I'm like, I did not like Molly all the time, but sometimes she was made to be the angry Black woman on the show. You know? And it, like, in the moment, it's like, Issa's a dark-skinned Black woman too, so it's like it doesn't feel as bad, but it's still not a good depiction.
I didn't even think of that. Molly being an angry Black woman. I just was
or even like the what is it? The when her, I can't remember who the girl was that came to her law office, but she's played by Gail Bean.
Yes.
And she
was loud and ghetto.
Yes, that I was like, I like the fact that they, you know, wrapped it up in the end with her saying like, I got here being who I am, and I'm gonna remain who I am and keep my position in this like law firm, which was amazing. I love that for like the depiction of that. However, I didn't like that Molly treated her that way because it didn't give a good look because we hear a lot of women say like black women didn't treat them well in the workplace, and I think we leaned into that.
I think that's like a point I hadn't even considered that. I feel like it was very realistic. But I do agree where it is harmful. I forgot all about that girl playing that role.
Love me some Gail.
Me too. She does a good job in her roles. So I would say if any of them were to be harmful, I think I did not like Tiffany's character, and I'm not a fan of Amanda Seals. I'm just gonna put that in the air. But what I will say is this: I do find her character to be harmful. Now, I'm not, what's the word called? Colorism and all of that is real, and so I do feel like that. Tiffany's role played into that. Light skin, pretty, house, the husband and the baby, AKA, and all those other things.
Yes.
But then like Tiffany was actually very annoying and very like almost like Caucasian girl loopy. And I'm like, I don't think that's fair. Like I get it because typically the lighter skinned women do get all the praise and the glory in shows. And so in this scenario, I guess it was kind of flipped for that character. But I'm like, I just didn't like that. I do like that they did humanize her when she had her kid and was going through postpartum depression.
Yeah.
She was humanized in that moment, but I feel like Tiffany's role at large, I don't think she was really humanized on the show. So that I will say, in terms of harmful depictions, I'm not gonna say it was inaccurate because that is somebody's lived experience.
Yeah.
So it's not like I can say this stuff is fake. It seems harmful, but also this is a show by us for us. So it's like,
so we gotta see it.
Yeah.
We gotta show all sides of the coin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I didn't like it, but I understand.
Right, I do. And I've met people like her to a T.
Yes.
Skin tone.
I think I met every single one of those characters on the show in real life at some point in life. And if I haven't, I think I will later on.
No, really. It's gonna. I'm sure it
point.
is. So how did Insecure change your perspective on relations and relationships within our community?
Whew. Spinning the block is a no.
Okay.
It's a no. I don't know. It's so many. I have so many thoughts. Oh my gosh. I think they gave a lot of good examples of what it looks like to have healthy love with black people, and then they also showed like the intricacies and like the layers of everything that's happening, because even like with Tiffany, she had a husband, she was married, and there will be things that she would say and you'll be like, wait, what happened? And she'll be like, oh, but we're not going to talk about that. And it's like, yeah, but what,
we should talk about that.
Yeah, like what's going on? I'll say Dro and Molly.
Okay, I'm glad you touched on it. Yes.
That one threw me because yes, you're in an open marriage, but as a woman, why do you want to participate in it?
With what benefits?
And now you're upset because you don't have the full-time access that you would have if this was a single man that was only dating you.
I'm like, I get it in a way just because she had so many failed relationships and situations or whatever, but also it's like, with what benefits did this situation come and at what cost? Because it really did you no favors outside of sex and the way that Molly was having sex. Girl, anybody could have had sex with you like this. Like, you didn't need Dro. Dro was not the only one that could hit that spot, I'm sure. Like, just because she had, not that she was a hoe, she made me go through her whole phase. But I'm just like, girl, no. That was a no for me.
That one was so strange because it was like, I gotta go tend to my wife, but I love you too kind of thing. And it was weird, and it made it worse because y'all were friends as children. That one, I was like, if you were gonna try that, you should have tried it with somebody that you didn't really know like that, because now I think you feel like there's an intimacy that's there because y'all have been friends for such a long time.
It takes it in a completely different direction.
Exactly.
Where it previously could have just been sex if you had fucked someone else's husband. Now it is no longer. So I definitely agree with that. I think Dro and Molly's are the only situation, relations, whatever, that actually changed my perspective on relations and relationships in our community. Actually, Issa and Lawrence too. Because Lawrence taking her back after she cheated. Because I feel like a lot of times men dish it and can't take it. Yes. So him taking her back, I'm like, that's different. That's actually, I don't know if I've ever even seen this in real life before. I'm so much. Have you? A man taking a woman back?
Yes. Love her.
I've never seen that.
I've seen it. I've only seen it once. And they're a healthy, happy couple. They're married, baby now. I think they're doing well from what I know.
Mm-hmm.
However, I was floored when I found out that was the case. I was like, oh, I didn't know that.
That is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen that for us before.
I think it is interesting too because, like, you remember when the show came out and people were like live tweeting, like live reactions, everything, and like I think that was a good moment for the culture too, because like there's not many shows in that era where people were live tweeting and mad, like I'm Team Issa, I'm Team Lawrence. That was truly a time.
It was.
And
I miss Twitter when Twitter was Twitter.
You know, X ain't really hitting on this. But I remember people being mad at Lawrence. And I understood why y'all mad at Lawrence, but I'm like, Issa, baby, you cheated on that man.
Yeah.
You are dead wrong for cheating on that man.
We can't give Issa
baby, you could have just you could have just broke up if it was that bad. Like,
I do agree with that.
Yes. I think we gave, like, when the show first came out, like, rewatching is very different than actually watching it for the first time.
Yeah.
The first time everybody like, I'm on Issa's side. This man, he been sitting here for 2 years, ain't did nothing. Girl, vocal shorts. Like, no, baby, you should have just broke up and then you could agree.
I do agree with that. And I thought when I originally watched it, I'm like, you know, like you said, going hard for Issa. That's my girl. That's my girl. Yeah. He forgot her birthday. Fuck him. But then it's like, hold on. Yeah. As a grown woman, Issa, just like I tell these niggas, just break up. Y'all don't have to be together. You didn't have to cheat. You could just broke up. But yeah, so I think that's a good point too. So, would you consider Molly and Issa's friendship to be admirable? Ooh. Ooh. What's the tea?
I think in the sense of realism, absolutely. I think it's a realistic take on friendships, especially between like women in their like mid to late 20s going into their 30s. I think it's a realistic take for sure.
Okay.
However, some of the shit that Molly did, I would never, ever consider a friend to be if they did anything like that. Same thing for Issa. Y'all have lost our minds. We would not be friends after some of the shit that they did. Like, I don't know. I am very heavy on like not calling everybody my friend. So if we friends, you damn near family. So if you play with me,
well, I'm wrap it up.
You're done.
Yeah, I definitely feel that. I personally don't think that their friendship was admirable. I do think it was good for TV, but I just think about the ways in which I need my friends to show up for me and support me in the ways in which I show up and support my friends. And I'm like, for you to even have the mindset, the thought, the audacity, we're good. We're absolutely good. I do think the one thing that was very realistic about their friendship is like people do make mistakes and we have to learn to be not okay, but offer grace to people as they grow and learn. I think that's really cool. I'm not the best with that though. And I'm not gonna give you 1,000,001 times to play in my face. I'm not. Like, and I have had a couple friends. Actually, I only had one friend where I was like willing to sit down and have a conversation a few times where it was like, this is not working for me, but I love you and I want us to work this out. I can only do this so many times. Babe, this is cooked. I'm done. Like, I literally don't trust you. I think something weird is going on. So how can we be honest and truthful friends if there's always that looming, like, this bitch is up to something. She wants to see me fail, you know? Like, I don't understand that.
It's really hard. I think one of the things, like, when you are in that age, like, and I just hit 25, so I'm like, the mid-20s is here. They're here. But even just thinking about it, like, I had one friend, we went for a few months without talking to each other because at the surface it looked very small, but the principle of it was huge. And because there was a lot of miscommunication surrounding it, and we both being stubborn, we like, I'm not talking to you, you ain't talking to me, whatever. And like, we went months, and then my birthday rolled around, and it was like, happy birthday, Jack. And I was like, that's how I know we're still friends, because even if we ain't talking, God knows how long, and we hadn't talked for like 3 months, I think, at that point. But even in that instance, you know that I care about my birthday, and you know if it was your birthday, I would still say happy birthday, even though like we ain't talking, I would still say it. I was like, yeah, we still friends. And like we actually sat down, had a conversation, and we figured out where the miscommunication was. But then there are other friends we have those conversations, and it's like, okay, I heard you. I'm gonna do my work on my end, and then they're like, okay, I hear you. I'm gonna do my work on my end, and then they're not doing it. They're not doing that work, and I'm like, okay.
And I can't just give them this on.
Yes, and it's hard too because sometimes you don't have to have a conversation. Sometimes you really just gotta get the space, and then when y'all come back together later on, then you can talk about it because now y'all both in a better space.
And I'm in a chapter where I'm like, give it space and come back. And I'm like, okay. So I'm just not learning that. Previously, there is no space. This is cooked, girl. This is not me giving you space. Bitch, don't come back.
And
this is done.
a lot of practice.
It does.
Like, I think too, sometimes people think that like friendships are like, I can find a new friend. It is hard to make friends as an adult.
It is.
And when you have good friends, even if y'all have bad moments, I think it's easier for you to be like, okay, I can take a step back and I'll come back to this. But you know that that's like a friendship that's worth that.
Right.
Because when you like, yeah, nah, we good. We good. But also like, you know when y'all really good because you don't come back to that ever. And they don't ever reach out. You ain't never gonna reach out. All the friends that I thought like, dang, I'm sad that like we ain't really catching up with each other no more, but it's because life is life and we got our own things going on. And like right now we both ain't in the headspace to like be here. And then we come back, everything's straight. Everything's good. And they're like, yeah, I want to reach out to you, but I had this going on. And I'm like, I understand it.
Because we're going through real life.
Yeah, and we're adults. And so a lot of my friends are older than me. Like they in their like 30s.
You told me that.
Yes, they got kids. They got
that's very
spouses
interesting
and stuff. And I think that's also a different perspective for me because my friends that are close to my age, I think I have more grace for them because I have friends that are older. Because like
you didn't see it.
Yeah, they got life happening.
So, since we're talking about a lot of changes and transformations that happen in friendships, so how did you see the characters evolve over the seasons, and what does that say about personal growth and adulthood?
I think I'll start with Issa. Issa was all over the fucking place initially.
It was.
Seasons 1 and 2, baby Issa, what was you doing, girl? However, I think Issa had to get used to like being alone. Because her and Lawrence had been together, I don't remember how long they had been together, but they had been
5.
Yeah, like 5 years. Yeah. And like you always had a person there to like lean on, catch you if I can't get it, you can get it kind of thing. And I think she had to figure that out, but also figure out like where her friendships were going because she has one married friend, one friend that's actively dating and failing at it. We have one that's just, having the blast, having the time of her life. And I think in her work life, she was still trying to figure out like what you said, like that passion and getting paid for your passion, diving into what you actually really care about and still like making ends meet with that. But I think as you get older, you figure out what's important to you. And I think in adulthood, we have to figure out like what's this season for as far as like our development.
Right.
So like I had a season of development on my relationships. I had a season to just dive into my workspace. Now I just got a season of diving into me. Kind of thing,
That's fair. I think very similar. And you can see the personal development and the character development every season. So we can also see the brand deals coming through. The fashion was changing. Love that for us. But I think also as the show grew, it showed how like we grow. Hairstyles change. People look more mature. People are handling situations very differently than they would have before. And so seeing the characters evolve just showed that, in my opinion, like where you are right now has very little to do with where you can be in 2, 5, 10 years. Even getting all the way to the end where Issa started off at, we got y'all, it was a mess. Only for her to have her own nonprofit, putting artists on in the city, handling it, being like an actual notable figure in her city. It's like, oh, okay. Like you can start here and then, just take a few years. Time. Time is not always our friend. But it is technically always on our side. Like at the end of the day, things are going to work out for the better. I think a lot of times we miss that. But the show tackled that. What role do you think the music played in setting the tone for the series? Are there particular songs or artists that enhance your viewing experience?
The way I would go and look for those songs after every episode.
Hey, I have a playlist.
Listen. And I love that they caught on to that too in the later seasons of like, here y'all go, here's the playlist from this season. Here's the playlist. Because they knew that the music set the tone for us. I don't think there's any like particular artist or anything, but I will say I do love that Jasmine Sullivan did the Insecure song and like was actually there in the space and like set it up like the Insecure show.
I love the musical component of Insecure. I feel like it was just like a full experience. Like we got the cinema, we got all the arts have been incorporated in this single experience. And she put me on so many songs, so many artists. I'm like, girl, who are these people? Where did you meet them? And how do you know them? So I just love the musical experience that you get from watching the show. Like I just think it elevated it in so many different ways. Whereas like previously, I think a lot of times we would watch a show prior to Insecure, and you have the background music, and the background music is background music. Who cares? Versus like here, it was like, oh no, pause the show. We need to get the thing on the song.
Get it.
Period. Cause okay, let's go ahead. We can play the show now. You know, so I love that for us. It just put us on not only to black artists, black actors, but it also put us on black artists as well, which I think is like. Both of them are very important as well as artists.
I think they also got to play into like how important music is to the black culture, because a lot of times music in shows, like you said, it's like it does not matter, but for black people, music is everything.
It means everything. Literally.
Even like, have you seen Reasonable Doubt? It's on Hulu.
Is it worth it?
Absolutely.
Okay,
that is my shit.
Watch it then.
And I love it because the second season is based around a domestic violence case, and it's October. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Kerry Washington did her big one with this show.
Okay.
Now, but the entire second season, every episode is named after a song off of Jay-Z's debut album. And that's a big deal because Jay-Z has, all his masters, all the things. But the music in that show, 10 out of 10. It's a very black show.
It's I think it's so intentional. Like it's such an intentional experience when they take the time to curate the music. Not your normal behind the scenes music, but like actual songs they curated like down to the lyrics. Not just the vibe of the song, but what the song is saying. I love that for us. On a lighter note, which star do you think, or which character do you think deserves a spinoff?
Kelly.
Everybody says that.
I think it's Kelly. I really, first of all, I really want to know the beef between her and Issa's brother. We do need to get to the bottom of that. I really want to know. But also, I feel like as far as like side characters that didn't get really like any like streamline like of their story, I think she was the one with the smallest.
I do agree. That's a good point.
And she's one of my favorite characters.
She's very interesting, like the stuff that she does. And I thought she plays into that awkward black girl, but also adds in the full figure component too, where it's like that's what we want to dive into.
And she was an accountant. That
getting paid.
Listen, when I rewatched, I was like, I don't know how I forgot that Kelly was an accountant, because she was like, "Bitch, you broke." Like, I'm like, now I remember that distinctly because that's you. And she's like, "Bitch, you broke. Where you gonna go?" Like,
literally.
I love that, but I think Kelly had the most interesting like development for like a side character. Tiffany is Tiffany.
I don't think I would care to watch that.
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't care.
But like Molly having a spinoff, I think we've seen enough of Molly's life within the show.
We have.
Or even maybe Lawrence's friend. What was his name? The one that he lived with.
That was engaged and then not engaged.
Him. I don't even remember his name, but that one, I think I would watch a spinoff of him.
He's so peculiar.
He's so interesting. I would laugh. Like, you would have a good laugh out of that man.
That's a good point. We would.
It would be very entertaining.
I'll definitely vote Kelly, and I think the whole world votes Kelly. So Issa, if you're listening, girl, come on, spin off for Kelly.
Have you seen her show, How to Die Alone?
Yes, I just finished watching it. It was good. It was really good, and I'm like, I can't wait till they like beef it up some more. As they get renewed.
I'm sorry if you haven't seen it. I didn't like how they tackled my girls in the show.
Me either, and I wasn't expecting. It actually threw me off. It really did. I wasn't expecting that. Like, but then
she said, "I fucking work here." I'm like,
Kelly's still getting tackled. Girl, what's going on? Why are you always in trouble?
And you work here, baby. You work
That's
here.
embarrassing. Y'all are my coworkers. Why are you tackling me? But yeah, I would say definitely Kelly. Kelly will be a good one. Very interesting. And I always love seeing black girls be the center of TV. Black girls and plus size girls. I just like, I don't know. It's an experience. It's a very unique experience, especially even from the love component. Because in her new show, girl, that was me all over the whole scared to say I love you. I said, Kelly.
Really?
Yes.
She was making me so mad. I'm like, Kelly, don't say that when you look.
I get it though. I was like, yeah, just do you love him? Are we sure?
What
if he don't really love you and he's lying?
That one and Survival of the Thickest. Have you
That was
ever
a good
seen
one.
that? I love that one.
They need to give some more episodes to that. But that character, because First Wives Club, have you watched that?
Yes.
Yeah, that was a good one too.
First Wives Club was so good.
So yeah, I love to see him full figure black women at the center of attention and being loved on. So how does a show explore the ups and downs of modern dating? And are Issa and Lawrence the epitome of it's complicated or just a little too relatable for comfort?
Comfort.
Okay. Why?
They shouldn't have ended up together.
Okay.
One of my favorite episodes, I can't remember the name of it, but it's the one where I think she has on like that red suit and then they stop in front of
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the episode, but that one, it's one of my favorite episodes. But I love that they're very transparent with each other about everything that happened and like how everything has gone since they've broken up. And I like that. I like that y'all had that honest conversation. However, that is not a jumping point for y'all to get back together.
Ooh, and you just read the room. You read the room with that one.
I think it's great to have that conversation and be like, yeah, I fucked up here. I fucked up here. We've both fucked up here. Cool. That does not mean that we need to be back together.
It doesn't. I think that's a very valid point. And I do think it was just comfortable when you think back on it. I wanted Issa to be with somebody, and it didn't even have to be somebody from her past. It could have been somebody new as she's making these new career hops and jumps. Mm-hmm. Like, girl, there's so many men out there in that other bracket that you can explore. So I would have loved to have seen her dive more into that. She didn't necessarily even have to end the series being married, being in a family. I just didn't see Issa being a stepmom, is it very real? Yes. Very real. I think Issa just meant so much to all of us that it was like we wanted her to have more. We wanted her to have a better, not better, but a stronger family start, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, Condola, I just like all of that, all of what comes with that. I'm like, hell no. Because Condola is still their baby mama, and that was still your friend at some point. So you found out that was actually your man's new girl, and then it's like, this is like, back to Molly, this is messy. Like, Molly did not lie when she said that. Granted, you can love somebody, like you said, that doesn't mean that you need to be with them.
I didn't like that ending. I would much rather would have preferred her be alone.
Yeah.
And not to say like you can't have a career out of things and stuff and you just need to be alone. No, you can be alone and explore what you need at this point in your life. I think it worked out well for them. It looked like it worked out well for them. That's great. Love that. However, Kanunu and that baby.
Look, canola oil.
Listen, didn't nobody want to see that. Condolences, please. That storyline pissed me off. One of my favorite episodes is her dunking that damn baby.
Yes.
Listen, I loved it. 10 out of 10.
Cause I'm like, no.
I think you can grow and like have those honest conversations without getting back together. I think some people think that closure means that, okay, we closed out that chapter, let's start a new one together. That's not what that is. Let's close out this chapter, let's be honest with each other. Great. Have a nice life.
That's a harsh reality too. And I recently did that. And I was just like, I'm growing for real. Like, this is real growing.
It's so crazy because I think some people really think that they have to feed into the right person, wrong time thing, and they owe it to themselves to find out if that was the case.
No.
You don't have to, actually. You can just, move
That's
on.
fair. That is so fair. You really did read the room. That was a good point. That was really good.
Listen, y'all was comfortable. That was
too comfortable.
I am a firm believer in that is not the love of your life. That is not the last person that's gonna love you, baby.
Oh,
wrap it up.
That's not. You have not met everyone in this life that is going to love you. You haven't, and that's a good point.
And that's not the love of your life. I tell high schoolers that all the time. I'd be like, I promise you, the relationship that you're in right now, not the love of your life. Not the last person that's gonna love you. So Yeah. Okay.
And it's hard because then it's like the risk of it all of like, what if I don't find somebody else? And that person
And that's the risk though. Like that's what
Yeah.
you sign up for when you out here dating in this world. Like dating sucks.
It does.
Like that modern dating, you got talking, you got kicking it, you got my little yeah, you got all the things.
Sneaky link.
You got all the things, right? Nobody
y'all.
ain't nobody in a committed relationship out here. However, that's the risk. When you decide you want to date and find your person, you gotta go through a few bad apples to get to the best one.
And that's facts. That's a good point.
And some people are, great at picking the right one the first time. Love that for y'all. I love those people. I love y'all.
Mm-hmm.
That is not the case for most people.
Yeah, not relatable. Not super relatable.
Do it.
So, with that being said, do you have any additional thoughts, opinions about Insecure that you would like to share?
Rewatch Insecure every year. Your opinion will
Mandatory.
change.
It's mandatory.
I think, how people say it's a fall show? I think if you start in the summertime and you just, take it week by week.
Every fall, I get the urge to watch Insecure again. So I typically watch it like anywhere between 1 and 3 times a year.
Yes.
It's just a really good comfort show.
And
very
it's
relatable.
quick.
It
so
is.
Quick. So,
it's not going to take you forever.
And if you've never seen it, tune in. And if you are curious about what the world was like when it came out, just type in the hashtag Insecure. Hashtag Insecure. All those old tweets. If y'all see us on Twitter, mind your business.
Literally. Because we was fighting for our life. Going back and forth.
Team Issa, Team Lawrence. I'm Team Molly. Baby.
Literally.
Fighting for our lives.
It was a time.
Molly and Andrew.
Well, we didn't even touch on Molly and Andrew, but Molly and Andrew are very interesting. We'll leave it at that for now. There might be a part 2 to this. Once we watch it again, we might unpack again.
Yes.
But thank you so much for kicking it with us. Jayla, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Unpacking our favorite show. Let us know below in the comments. Have you seen Insecure? You're going to watch Insecure. What was your favorite part? What did you hate? Did you like Issa ended up with Lawrence?
That's always my question.
Because we got to get some. We, as a people, Issa, we need answers. How did we get here?
And who was the better friend, Molly or Issa?
Issa was the better friend. I don't care what anybody says.
I
Maybe
just
it's
wanna
like
know.
I'm Issa, but
I just want to know. What does the world think?
Yes, so let us know in the comments what your thoughts and opinions are. Again, thank you for kicking it with us. We will, of course, see y'all next time. Thanks.